Introduction to Functions of Management Business Organization. In this video, we are going to see about Introduction to Functions of Management Business Organization. Management in all business area and organizational activities are the acts of getting people to accomplish desired goals and objectives. Management is creative problem solving. This creative problem solving is accomplished through 5 functions of management, that is, planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. Representation of management functions. Management functions. In this video, we are going to see about management functions. Broadly, the management functions can be described as below. Controlling the working of the whole company. Directing others to do the work as their caliber. Integrating the work to do the work accordingly. Organizing the resources to run the company. Planning to get the maximum output by making them minimum efforts. Controlling the staff. Functions of management. Controlling. Controlling includes the various aspects which can enhance production. It can include laying down of the standards for performance for each worker and machine. The performance can be measured on weekly basis and appreciated accordingly. If the variance is high, and then tries to find out the reasons for it. If the machine has become rusty, take measures to have it either replaced or upgraded. Controlling the function of management in organization. Directing. Management job is more like a director of a film. It does not do anything himself but directs others to do it. The main idea is to supervise the whole procedure. If there is a problem or something is not understood, guide the same to the worker. So, it is very important that the management should be very thorough in their job. One of the most important parts of the management is to communicate to all the departments and wherever need motivate them to show better results. In most of the cases, the decision-making part is kept to the management. Directing the function of management in organization. Integrating. As mentioned above, the management's responsibility is to integrate the workers to take the best out of them. Integrating the function of management in organization. Organizing. Establishment of authority-responsibility relationships. It includes identification and grouping of activities, definition and delegation of responsibility, authority. Organizing the function of management in organization. Planning. Definitely the most important part of the management. It has to foresee the outlook of the company. So for this, the management has to have a mission to succeed. For this, they have to set up the objectives to achieve it. Based on the objectives, policies are drawn and implemented. Each policy has its own program and budget. Then, once the budgets are decided, the procedures and schedules are laid down and strictly followed. Planning. The function of management in organization. Staffing. Workers make the company, not the vice versa. If you have dedicated workers, your company is bound to do well. For them to be good, you need to have a good selection method. Once selected, there should be a constant communication with the staff or worker. To include them in the decision making and participation, you need to have counseling. Other major factors concerning the staff are training, compensation, dismissal. Staffing. The function of management in organization. Levels of management. In this video, we are going to see about levels of management. Each organization is made up of several levels. These could be classified broadly into 3 categories: top-level management, middle-level management, junior management level. The top management performs strategic planning, and the other 2 levels provide support in the form of processed information. Levels of management. Top-level strategic planning. Top level develops the strategy for deciding the objectives of the organization, planning resources to be used in order to attain those objectives, formulating policies to govern, use, and disposition of the resources. Middle level management control. Middle level is required by managers of various departments to measure performance, decide on control actions, formulate new decision rules, and also allocate resources. Lower or shop floor level operational control. Lower levels are the process of ensuring that operational levels are carried out to achieve optimum use of resources. It makes use of pre-established procedures and decision rules. The diagrammatic representation of interaction between 3 levels of management. Essence of management. Whatever a manager does, he or she do it through decision making. The classical organizational theory. In this video, we are going to see about classical organizational theory. Management theory is a collection of ideas that provide the framework for effective management strategy, or implemented in modern workplaces to motivate and bring the best out of employees. It's commonplace for managers to use more than one theory in order to achieve productivity or organizational goals. Evolution management theory. Classical organizational theory school. Contributors to this school of thought include Max Weber, Henri File, Mary Parker Follett, and Chester I. Barnard. These theorists studied the flow of or information within an organization and emphasized the importance of understanding how an organization operated. The classical organizational theory. The classical approach considered management as a distinct discipline based on certain principles. These are: principle of coordination, the scalar principle, functional principle, principle of coordination, the need for people to act together with unity of action, and need for discipline. Classical approach looks at organizations in terms of purpose and formal structure. The scalar principle. The scalar principle hierarchy of organization, the grading of duties and process of delegation. A clear understanding of the purpose of the organization is essential to understand how the organization works and how its working methods can be improved. Functional principle. Specialization and distinction between different kinds of duties. Emphasis was placed on the planning of work, technical requirements of the organization, principles of management, and the assumption of rational and logical behavior. Classical organizational theory school, comprising the works of Henri File's views on administration, Max Weber's idealized bureaucracy, Henri File's view on administration. In this video, we are going to see about Henri File's view on administration. Classical administrative approach concentrates on the total organization. The emphasis is on the development of managerial principles rather than work methods. It is a study of how to create an organizational structure that leads to high efficiency and effectiveness. Henri File's administrative theory mainly focuses on the personal duties of management at a much more granular level. In other words, his work is more directed at the management layer. File believed that management had 6 principal rules: to forecast, to plan, to organize, to command, to coordinate, to control. Representation of File's management of function. Forecasting and planning was the act of anticipating the future and acting accordingly. Organization was the development of the institution's resources, both material and human. Commanding was keeping the institution's actions and processes running. Coordination was the alignment and harmonization of the group's efforts. Finally, control meant that the above activities were performed in accordance with appropriate rules and procedures. Henri File, a French mining engineer, developed 14 principles of management based on his management experiences. They are: division of work. Division of work and specialization produces more and better work with the same effort. Authority and responsibility. Authority is the right to give orders and the power to exact obedience. A manager has official authority because of his position as well as personal authority based on individual personality, intelligence, and experience. Authority creates responsibility. Responsibility is inseparable from authority. Discipline. Obedience and respect within an organization are absolutely essential. Good discipline requires managers to apply sanctions whenever violations become apparent. Unity of command. An employee should receive orders from only one superior. If this rule is broken, authority will be weakened. Unity of direction. Organizational activities must have one central authority and one plan of action to guide the organization. Subordination of individual interest to general interest. The interests of one employee or group of employees are subordinate to the interests and goals of the organization. Remuneration of personnel. Salaries. The price of services rendered by employees should be fair and provide satisfaction both to the employee and employer. Centralization. The objective of centralization is the best utilization of personnel. The degree of centralization varies according to the dynamics of each organization. Scalar chain. A chain of authority exists from the highest organizational authority to the lowest ranks. Order. The arrangement of employees where they will be of the most value to the organization and to provide career opportunities. Equity. In organizations, equity is a combination of kindliness and justice. Both equity and equality of treatment should be considered when dealing with employees. Equity is the provision of justice in the fair and impartial treatment of all employees. Stability of tenure of personnel. To attain the maximum productivity of personnel, a stable workforce is needed. Initiative. Thinking out a plan and ensuring its success is an extremely strong motivator. Zeal, energy, and initiative are desired at all levels of the organizational ladder. Esprit de corps. Teamwork is fundamentally important to an organization. Work teams and extensive face-to-face verbal communication encourages teamwork. Principle of coordination. The need for people to act together with unity of action and need for discipline. The scalar principle. The hierarchy of organization, the grading of duties and process of delegation. Functional principle. Specialization and distinction between different kinds of duties. Criticisms of the classical approach. Insufficient account taken of personality factors. It is based on the concept of rational economic man and does not recognize the psychological aspects. It is very impersonal and undetermines the role of human factor. Creates organizational structures where people can exercise only limited control over their work environment. Out-of-date approach. The classical Max Weber's bureaucratic theory. In this video, we are going to see about the classical Max Weber's bureaucratic theory. Weber postulated that Western civilization was shifting from value-oriented thinking, effective action, action derived from emotions, and traditional action, action derived from past precedent, to technocratic thinking. They believed that civilization was changing to seek technically optimal results at the expense of emotional or humanistic content. They believed that organization should be managed impersonally and that a formal organizational structure where specific rules were followed was important. In other words, he did not think that authority should be based on a person's personality. They thought authority should be something that was part of a person's job and passed from individual to individual as one person left and another took over. This non-personal objective form of organization was called a bureaucracy. Weber believed that all bureaucracies have the following characteristics: a well-defined hierarchy. All positions within a bureaucracy are structured in a way that permits the higher positions to supervise and control the lower positions. This clear chain of command facilitates control and order throughout the organization. Division of labor and specialization. All responsibilities in an organization are specialized so that each employee has the necessary expertise to do a particular task. Rules and regulations. Standard operating procedures govern all organizational activities to provide certainty and facilitate coordination. Impersonal relationships between managers and employees. Managers should maintain an impersonal relationship with employees so that favoritism and personal prejudice do not influence decisions. Competence. Competence, not who you know, should be the basis for all decisions made in hiring, job assignments, and promotions in order to foster ability and merit as the primary characteristics of the bureaucratic organization. Records. A bureaucracy needs to maintain complete files regarding all its activities. Weber then developed a set of principles for an ideal bureaucracy. The behavioral approach. In this video, we are going to see about the behavioral approach. The behavioral approach is a study of how managers should behave to motivate employees and encourage them to perform at high levels and be committed to the achievement of organizational goals. It focuses on the way a manager should personally manage to motivate employees. The behavioral school of management thought developed in part because of perceived weaknesses in the assumptions of the classical school. The classical school emphasized efficiency, process, and principles. Thus, the behavioral school focused on trying to understand the factors that affect human behavior at work. If workers have relevant knowledge of the task, then they should control the task. The observations made to these experiments are: workers' attitudes are associated with productivity. Work satisfaction and hence performance is basically not economic, depends more on working conditions and attitudes, communications, positive management response and encouragement, working environment. It rejected Taylorism and its emphasis on employees' self-interest and the claimed overriding incentive of monetary rewards. Large-scale experiments involving more than 20,000 employees showed highly positive responses to changing work conditions. The workplace is a social system, and informal group influence could exert a powerful effect on individual behavior. The influence of the peer group observed to be very high, hence the importance of informal groups within the workplace. The style of supervision is an important factor in increasing workers' job satisfaction. According to the Human Relations School, the manager should possess skills for diagnosing the causes of human behavior at work, interpersonal communication, and motivating and leading workers. Thus, the Human Relations School focuses on issues of communication, leadership, motivation, and group behavior. The Human Relations School of Thought still influences management theory and practices contemporary management, focuses much attention on human resource management, organizational behavior, and applied psychology in the workplace. The criticisms of behavioral approach are: weak methodology of Hawthorne experiments, including failure to take sufficient account of environmental factors. Adoption of a management approach, a unitary frame of reference, and oversimplification of theories. File's insufficiently scientific and takes too narrow a view, ignoring the role of the organization within society. The management science approach. In this video, we are going to see about the management science approach. Scientific management is a systematic study of the relationships between people and tasks for the purpose of redesigning the work process for higher efficiency based on observation, experimentation, rational conclusions rather than depending on conventional methods based on trial and error. It emphasizes to replace rule of thumb and seeks to reduce the time a worker spent on each task by optimizing the way the task was done. The scientific approach to management school owes its roots to several major contributors including Frederick Taylor, Henry Gant, and Frank and Lillian Gilbreth. The first management theory is what is popularly referred to as Frederick Taylor's scientific management. Frederick Taylor started the era of modern management. The scientific approach to management arose because of the need to increase productivity and efficiency. Taylor proposed 4 principles of scientific management. Gather detailed time and motion information. Try different methods to see which is best. Codify the new methods into rules. Teach to all workers the new method. Workers should benefit from higher output. According to Taylor, there were two reasons for the inefficiency. They are deceptive belief that a material increase in the output of each man or each machine in the trade would throw people out of work. Defective management systems which made it necessary for each workman to soldier or work slowly to protect his own best interests. Taylor made three key assumptions about human behavior at work. Man is a rational economic animal concerned with maximizing his economic gain. People respond as individuals, not as groups. People can be treated in a standardized fashion like machines. The implications of Taylor's approach are the following. The main form of motivation is high linked to output. A manager's job is to tell an employee what to do. A worker's job is to do what they are told and get paid accordingly. Weakness in Taylor's approach. Taylor's approach ignores the many differences between people. There is no guarantee that a best way will suit everyone. Secondly, whilst money is an important motivation at work for many people, but it is not for everyone. Taylor overlooked the fact that people work for reasons other than financial reward. Taylor's emphasis on super specialization is considered unrealistic. Planning. In this video, we are going to see about planning. Planning is the process of deciding in advance what is to be done, where, how, and by whom it is to be done. Planning as a process involves anticipation of future course of events and deciding the best course of action. A plan is typically any procedure used to achieve an objective. Coates and O'Donnell state that planning is the election from among alternatives for future courses of action for the enterprise as a whole and each department within it. It is the most basic of all management functions. All other functions of management via organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling are based on proper planning. Planning function is done at all levels of management, though the nature and scope of plans may vary from one level to another. Planning is deciding best alternative among others to perform different managerial functions in order to achieve predetermined goals. Mission and vision. In this video, we are going to see about mission and vision. Mission. The mission of an organization is organization's purpose or fundamental reason for existence. A mission statement is a broad declaration of the basic unique purpose and scope of operations that distinguish the organization from other organizations of its type. Vision. A vision of success is a clear and succinct description of what the organization or community should look like after it successfully implements its strategies and achieves its full potential. It is an expression by the people about what they want the organization to be, a preferred future, a word or picture of an organization you choose to create. A vision statement for an organization should include the organization's mission, basic philosophy, core values or cultural feature, goals if established, basic strategies, performance criteria, important decision-making rules, ethical standards of employees. Goal or objective. In this video, we are going to see about goal or objective. A goal is a future target or end result that an organization wishes to achieve. A goal is a statement of a specific desired performance result with a time frame. A well-written goal should state what is to be accomplished and by when. Goal provides the members of organization a vision essential to the organization's success. Only clearly defined goals provide people with a focused direction and understanding they need to perform effectively and contribute to the organization achieving its purpose. Elements of effective goals. Goals must be defined clearly and effectively to support organizational performance. SMART criteria of effective goal is preferred, that is, to be effective, the goal should be specific, measurable, accepted, realistic, and time-framed as illustrated below. Specific enough for focus and feedback. Meaningful enough to engage participants. Accepted by participants. Realistic but challenging. Time-framed. SWOT analysis. In this video, we are going to see about SWOT analysis. SWOT is an acronym for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. SWOT analysis is a strategic planning method used to evaluate the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats involved in a project or in a business venture. It involves specifying the objective of the business venture or project and identifying the internal and external factors that are favorable and unfavorable to achieve that objective. SWOT analysis is a situation analysis in which internal strengths and weaknesses of an organization and external opportunities and threats faced by it are closely examined to chart a strategy. Specifically, SWOT is a basic, straightforward model that assesses what an organization can and cannot do as well as its potential opportunities and threats. The method of SWOT analysis is to take information from an environmental analysis and separate it into internal, that is strengths and weaknesses, and external issues, that is opportunities and threats. SWOT analysis is a general technique which can be applied across diverse functions and activities, but it is particularly appropriate to the early stages of planning. Performing a SWOT analysis involves the generation and recording of the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats in relation to a particular task or objective. It is customary for the analysis to take account of internal resources and capabilities, that is, strengths and weaknesses, and factors external to the organization, that is, opportunities and threats. Strengths. Strengths in the SWOT analysis are attributes or characteristics within the organization that are considered to be important to the execution and ultimate success of the project. Examples of strengths that are often cited are factors such as experienced management, state-of-the-art manufacturing facilities, and a solid profit line already in place. Weaknesses. Weaknesses in the SWOT analysis formula have to do with internal factors that could prevent the achievement of a successful result to the project. Factors such as a weak internal communication system, unhealthy levels of rivalry between departments, lack of raw materials, and inadequate funding for the project are often cited as weaknesses that can threaten to derail a project before it even begins. Opportunities. Opportunities are the third classification of factors in the SWOT analysis. This classification has to do with external elements that will prove helpful in achieving the goals set for the project. Threats. Threats are the final essential component for the SWOT analysis. Here, external factors that could threaten the success of the business, venture, or project are listed and addressed. Objective of a SWOT analysis: to reveal companies' competitive advantages, to analyze prospects for sales, profitability, and product development, to prepare company for problems, to allow for the development of contingency plans. Applications of SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis is not limited to profit-seeking organizations. SWOT analysis may be used in any decision-making situation when a desired end state objective has been defined. Examples include non-profit organizations, governmental units, and individuals. SWOT analysis can be used for workshop sessions, brainstorm meetings, problem solving, planning, product evaluation. Benefits of SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis can provide framework for identifying and analyzing strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. An impetus to analyze a situation and develop suitable strategies and tactics. Organizing. In this video, we are going to see about organizing. Organizing may be defined as the process of identifying and grouping the work to be performed, defining and delegating responsibilities and authority, the provisions for coordination in the organization structure. Organizing is a function of management which follows planning. It is a function in which the synchronization and combination of human, physical, and financial resources takes place. According to Chester Barnard, organizing is a function by which the concern is able to define the role positions, the jobs related, and the coordination between authority and responsibility. It is the process of creating structure, establishing relationships, and allocating resources to accomplish the goals of the organization. Organizing deals with all the activities that result in the formal assignment of tasks and authority and a coordination of effort. The purpose of organizing is to make the best use of resources to achieve goals. Types of organizational structures. In this video, we are going to see about types of organizational structures. All managers must bear that there are two organizations they must deal with, one formal and the other informal. The formal organization is usually delineated by an organizational chart and job descriptions. The official reporting relationships are clearly known to every manager. Alongside, the formal organization exists or informal organization, which is a set of evolving relationships and patterns of human interaction within an organization that are not officially prescribed. Formal organizational structures are categorized as line organizational structure, staff or functional authority organizational structure, line and staff organizational structure, committee organizational structure, divisional organizational structure, project organizational structure, matrix organizational structure, and hybrid organizational structure. Line organizational structure. A line organization has only direct vertical relationships between different levels in the firm. There is only line departments directly involved in accomplishing the primary goal of the organization. Features. Have only direct vertical relationships between different levels in the firm. Advantages. Tends to simplify and clarify authority, responsibility, and accountability relationships. Promotes fast decision making. Simple to understand. Disadvantages. Neglects specialists in planning. Overloads key persons. Staff or functional authority organizational structure. The jobs or positions in an organization can be categorized as line position, position in the direct chain of command that is responsible for the achievement of an organizational goals. Staff position. A position intended to provide expertise, advice, and support for the line positions. The line officers or managers have the direct authority, known as line authority, to be exercised by them to achieve the organizational goals. The staff officers or managers have staff authority, that is, authority to advise the line over the line. This is also known as functional authority. Line and staff organizational structure. Most large organizations belong to this type of organizational structure. These organizations have direct vertical relationships between different levels and also specialists responsible for advising and assisting line managers. Such organizations have both line and staff departments. Staff departments provide line people with advice and assistance in specialized areas, for example, quality control, advising production department. Three types of specialized staffs can be identified: advising, service, and control. Features: line and staff have direct vertical relationship between different levels. Staff specialists are responsible for advising and assisting line managers or officers in specialized areas. Advantages: higher flexibility and specialization. It may create conflict between line and staff personnel. Staff people may resent their lack of authority, and this may cause line and staff conflict. Disadvantages: committees may delay decisions, consume more time, and hence more expensive. Buck passing may result. Committee organizational structure. Committee organizational structure provides integrated ideas of various related people of the company. Coordination and control become easy because open discussion is invited in the committee. Ideas in specialized functions are feasible under committee organization. Advantages: pooling of knowledge and experience, improved communication, facility of coordination. Disadvantages: indecisiveness, high costs, compromised decisions. Divisional organizational structure. In this type of structure, the organization can have different bases on which departments are formed. They are function, product, geographic territory, project, and combination approach. Project organizational structure. A project organization is a temporary organization designed to achieve specific results by using teams of specialists from different functional areas in the organization. The project team focuses all its energies, resources, and results on the assigned project. Once the project has been completed, the team members from various cross-functional departments may go back to their previous positions or may be assigned to a new project. Feature: temporary organization designed to achieve specific results by using teams of specialists from different functional areas in the organization. Matrix organizational structure. It is a permanent organization designed to achieve specific results by using teams of specialists from different functional areas in the organization. Feature: superimposes a horizontal set of divisions and reporting relationships onto a hierarchical functional structure. Advantages: improved environmental monitoring, fast response to change. Disadvantages: high administration cost, potential confusion over authority and responsibility. Hybrid organizational structure. Hybrid organizational structure is used by multinational companies operating in the global environment. For example, International Business Machines USA. Advantages: alignment of corporate and division goals, functional expertise and efficiency, adaptability and flexibility in divisions. Disadvantages: conflicts between corporate departments and units, excessive administration overhead, slow response to exceptional situations. Informal organizational structures. An informal organization is a set of evolving relationships and patterns of human interaction within an organization which are not officially presented. Advantages: assists in accomplishing the work faster, provides an additional channel of communication. Disadvantages: may work against the purpose of formal organization, reduces the degree of predictability and control. Power. In this video, we are going to see about power. Power. Power refers to the possession of authority and influence over others. Power is a tool that, depending on how it is used, and can lead to either positive or negative outcomes in an organization. They identified 5 sources of power, namely coercive, referent, legitimate, expert, and reward power. Legitimate power. Legitimate power is also known as positional power. It is derived from the position a person holds in an organization's hierarchy. Expert power. Knowledge is power. Expert power is derived from possessing knowledge or expertise in a particular area. Such people are highly valued by organizations for their problem-solving skills. Referent power. Referent power is derived from the interpersonal relationships that a person cultivates with other people in the organization. People possess reference power when others respect and like them. Referent power is also derived from personal connections that a person has with key people in the organization's hierarchy, such as the CEO. Coercive power. Coercive power is derived from a person's ability to influence others via threats, punishments, or sanctions. Coercive power helps control the behavior of employees by ensuring that they adhere to the organization's policies and norms. Reward power. Reward power arises from the ability of a person to influence the allocation of incentives in an organization. These incentives include salary increments, positive appraisals, and promotions. Authority. In this video, we are going to see about authority. Scalar chain is a chain of command or authority which flows from top to bottom. With a chain of authority available, wastages of resources are minimized, communication is affected, overlapping of work is avoided, and easy organization takes place. A scalar chain of command facilitates workflow in an organization, which helps in achievement of effective results. As the authority flows from top to bottom, it clarifies the authority positions to managers at all levels, and that facilitates effective organization. According to the above diagram, the managing director has got the highest level of authority. This authority is shared by the marketing manager, who shares his authority with the sales manager. This scalar chain of command always flows from top to bottom, and it defines the authority positions of different managers at different levels. Delegation. In this video, we are going to see about delegation. A manager alone cannot perform all the tasks assigned to him. In order to meet the targets, the manager should delegate authority. Delegation of authority means division of authority and powers downwards to the subordinate. Delegation is about entrusting someone else to do parts of your job. Delegation of authority can be defined as subdivision and suballocation of powers to the subordinates in order to achieve effective results. Elements of delegation. Authority. In context of a business organization, authority can be defined as a power and right of a person to use and allocate the resources efficiently, to take decisions, and to give orders so as to achieve the organizational objectives. Authority must be well defined. Authority is a right to give commands, orders, and get the things done. Responsibility. Responsibility is the duty of a person to complete the task assigned to him. A person who is given the responsibility should ensure that he accomplishes the tasks assigned to him. Responsibility without adequate authority leads to discontent and dissatisfaction among the person. Responsibility flows from bottom to top. The middle level and lower level management holds more responsibility. Accountability. Accountability, giving explanations for any in the actual performance from the expectations set. Accountability cannot be delegated. For achieving delegation, a manager has to work in a system and has to perform following steps. Granting of authority, assignment of tasks and duties, creating responsibility and accountability. Centralized and decentralized organization. In this video, we are going to see about centralized and decentralized organization. Centralized organization. Centralization is the process of retaining power and authority in the hands of higher management. Centralization is the systematic and consistent reservation authority at central points in the organization. The implication of centralization can be reservation of decision-making power at top level, reservation of operating authority with the mid-level managers, reservation of operation at low level at the directions of the top level, the important and key decisions are taken by the top management and the other levels or into implementations as per the directions of top level. Decentralized organization. Decentralization is the process of delegating power and authority throughout the organization to the lower levels of management. Decentralization is a systematic delegation of authority at all levels of management and in all of the organization. In a decentralization concern, authority is retained by the top management for taking major decisions and framing policies concerning the whole concern. Rest of the authority may be delegated to the middle level and lower level of management. In a decentralized organization, decisions are made at the lowest levels of organization. Larger organizations tend to be more decentralized. The more specialized the field involved, the more authority is delegated to lower levels of management. The more rapid the change, the lower level employees will need be involved in responding to customers and in decision making. According to Allen, decentralization refers to the systematic effort to delegate to the lowest level of authority, except that which can be controlled and exercised at central points. Decentralization is not the same as delegation. Decentralization is all extension of delegation. Decentralization pattern is wider in scope and the authorities are diffused to the lowest most level of management. Advantages of decentralization. It relieves top management of some burden of decision making. It encourages decision making and assumption of authority and responsibility. Limitations of decentralization. It makes more difficult to have a uniform policy. It increases complexity of coordination of decentralized organizational units. Formal organization and informal organization. In this video, we are going to see about formal organization and informal organization. Formal organization. Formal organization is one which refers to a structure of well-defined jobs, each bearing a measure of authority and responsibility. In formal organization, there is intentional structure of roles in a formally organized company. It is a conscious determination by which people accomplish goals by adhering to the norms laid down by the structure. Formal organization has a formal setup to achieve predetermined goals. Formal organization must be flexible. There should be a room for discretion, creative talent, etc. Informal organization. It refers to a network of personal and social relationships which spontaneously originates within the formal setup. Informal organizations develop relationships which are built on likes, dislikes, feelings, and emotions. Therefore, the network of social groups based on friendships can be called as informal organizations. There is no conscious effort made to have informal organization. It emerges from the formal organization and it is not based on any rules and organization as in the case of formal organization. Functions and design of an organization. In this video, we are going to see about functions and design of an organization. Functional organization. Functional organization is an organization in which we can define as a system. In functional, departments are created to deal with the problems of business at various levels. This has been divided to put the specialists in the top position throughout the enterprise. Functional authority remains confined to functional and guidance to different departments. This helps in maintaining quality and uniformity of performance of different functions throughout the enterprise. The concept of functional organization was suggested by F.W. Taylor, who recommended the appointment of specialists at important positions. This means that subordinates receives orders from several specialist managers working above them. Features of functional organization. The entire organizational activities are divided into specific functions such as operations, finance, marketing, and personal relations. Complex form of administrative organization compared to the other two. 3 authorities exist: line, staff, function. Principles of unity of command does not apply to such organization as it is present in line organization. Merits of functional organization: specialization. Better division of labor takes place, which results in specialization of function and its consequent benefits. Effective control. Management control is simplified as the mental functions are separated from manual functions. Checks and balances keep the authority within certain limits. Efficiency. Greater efficiency is achieved because of every function performing a limited number of functions. Demerits of functional organization. Confusion. The functional system is quite complicated to put into operation, especially when it is carried out at low levels. Therefore, coordination becomes difficult. Lack of coordination. Disciplinary control becomes weak as a worker commanded not by one person but a large number of people. Thus, there are no unity of command. Difficulty in fixing responsibility. Because of multiple authorities, it is difficult to fix responsibility. Design of an organization. Design in an organization is much the same as for buildings, clothing, and vehicles. It is a plan. When a company's leaders develop plans for how their company should function or would perform better, they undertake the business of organizational design. Good design takes inventory of all the tasks, functions, and goals of a business and then develops groupings and orderings of job positions, departments, and individuals to best and most efficiently achieve those ends. Usually, designs are expressed through an organizational chart which helps players throughout an organization understand functions and power relationships. Leading. In this video, we are going to see about leading. Leader is a man who can persuade people to do what they do not do or do what they are too lazy to do and like it. Leadership occurs when one person induces others to work towards some predetermined objectives. Chester Bernard has defined leadership as the ability of a supervisor to influence the behavior of a subordinate or group and persuade them to follow a particular course of action. The 5 important functions of leadership are as follows: to develop teamwork, to act as a representative of the work group, to act as a counselor of the people at work, time management, proper use of power. For efficient performance of these functions, a manager should possess the following traits: inspire. Leaders create the energy for employees to do their best. They clear roadblocks and encourage creativity. Communicate. Leaders keep employees informed about the organization. They build relationships at all levels in the organization. Support. Great leaders create environments where employees feel safe to speak up. Motivation. In this video, we are going to see about motivation. Motivation is operationally defined as the inner force that drives individuals to accomplish personal and organizational goals. The definition of motivation is to give reason, incentive, enthusiasm, or interest that causes a specific action or certain behavior. Motivation is present in every life function. Simple acts such as eating are motivated by hunger. Education is motivated by desire for knowledge. Motivators can be anything from reward to coercion. Motivation is the activation or energization of goal-oriented behavior. Motivation is said to be intrinsic or extrinsic. These are intrinsic motivations, extrinsic motivation, intrinsic motivations. Intrinsic motivation is internal. It occurs when people are compelled to do something out of pleasure, importance, or desire. Intrinsic motivation comes from rewards inherent to a task or activity itself. Extrinsic motivation. Extrinsic motivation occurs when external factors compel the person to do something. Extrinsic motivation comes from outside of the performer. Money is the most obvious example, but coercion and threat of punishment are also common extrinsic motivations. Theories of motivation. In this video, we are going to see about theories of motivation. Motivational theories. The incentive theory of motivational. A reward, tangible or intangible, is presented after the occurrence of an action, that is behavior, with the intent to cause the behavior to occur again. This is done by associating positive meaning to the behavior. Studies show that if the person receives the reward immediately, the effect would be greater and decreases as the duration lengthens. Repetitive action-reward combination can cause the action to become habit. Motivation comes from two sources: oneself and other people. These two sources are called intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation respectively. Abraham Maslow's need theory. Abraham Maslow's theory is one of the most widely discussed theory of motivation. The theory can be summarized as follows. Employees have 5 levels of needs: physiological, safety, social, ego, and self-actualizing. Human beings have wants and desires which influence their behavior. Only unsatisfied needs influence behavior, satisfied needs do not. person's needs are many, they are arranged in order of importance from the basic to the complex. The person advances to the next level of needs only after the lower level need is at least minimally satisfied. The further the progress up the hierarchy, the more individuality, humanness, and psychological health a person will show. The needs listed from basic, that is lowest to earliest, to most complex, that is highest to latest, are as follows: status, security, physiology, safety, belongingness, self-esteem, self-actualization, self-realization. Hewlett's hierarchy of work motivators. Salary, benefits, working conditions, supervision, policy, safety, security, affiliation, and relationships are all externally motivated needs. These are the first three levels of Hewlett's hierarchy. When these needs are achieved, the person moves up to level 4 and then 5. However, if levels 1 to 3 are not met, the person becomes dissatisfied with their job. When satisfaction is not found, the person becomes less productive and eventually quits or is fired. Achievement, advancement, recognition, growth, responsibility, and job nature are internal motivators. These are the last two levels of Hewlett's hierarchy. Theory X and Theory Y. Both of the factors begin with the premise that management role is to assemble the factors of production, including people, for the economic benefit of the firm. They describe two very different attitudes toward workforce motivation. Theory X and Theory Y represent two sets of assumptions about human nature and human behavior that are relevant to the practice of management. Theory X represents a negative view of human nature and assumes individuals generally dislike work, are irresponsible, and require close supervision to do their jobs. Theory Y denotes a positive view of human nature and assumes individuals are generally industrious, creative, and able to assume responsibility and exercise self-control in their jobs. One would expect then that managers holding assumptions about human nature that are consistent with Theory X might exhibit a managerial style that is quite different than managers who hold assumptions consistent with Theory Y. Theory X. Theory X assumes that the average person dislikes work and attempts to avoid it, has no ambition, wants no responsibility, and would rather follow than lead, is self-centered and therefore does not care about organizational goals, resists change, is gullible and not particularly intelligent. Essentially, Theory X assumes that people work only for money and security. In this theory, which has been proven counter-effective in most modern practice management, assumes employees are inherently lazy and will avoid work if they can, and that they inherently dislike work. A hierarchical structure is needed with a narrow span of control at each and every level. McGregor argued that the conventional approach, that is Theory X, to managing was based on three major propositions. Management is responsible for organizing the elements of productive enterprise money, materials, equipment, and people in the interests of economic ends. With respect to people, this is a process of directing their efforts, motivating them, controlling their actions, and modifying their behavior to fit the needs of the organization. Without this active intervention by management, people would be passive, even resistant to organizational needs. They must therefore be persuaded, rewarded, punished, and controlled. Their activities must be directed. Management's task was thus simply getting things done through other people. Theory Y. The higher levels of esteem and self-actualization are continuing needs in that they are never completely satisfied. This higher level needs through which employee can best be motivated. The set of assumptions for Theory Y. The average human does not dislike work, and it is as natural as play. People will exercise self-control in order to achieve objectives. Rewards of satisfaction and self-actualization are obtained from effort put forth to achieve organizational objective. The average human being not only accepts but also seeks responsibility. Human beings are creative and imaginative in solving organizational problems. The intellectual potential of the average human is only partially realized. If productivity is low and employees are not motivated, then it is considered failure on the manager's part. The major propositions of Theory Y include the following. Management is responsible for organizing the elements of productive enterprise money, materials, equipment, and people in the interests of economic ends. People are not by nature passive or resistant to organizational needs. The motivation, potential for development, capacity for assuming responsibility, and readiness to direct behavior toward organizational goals are all present in people. Management does not put them there. It is a responsibility of management to make it possible for people to recognize and develop these human characteristics for themselves. The essential task of management is to arrange organizational conditions and methods of operation so that people can achieve their own goals by directing their efforts toward organizational objectives. If Theory Y holds, the firm can do many things to harness the motivational energy of its employees. Decentralization and delegation. If firms decentralized control and reduce the number of levels of management, each manager will have more subordinates and consequently will be forced to delegate some responsibility and decision. Job enlargement. Broadening the scope of an employee's job adds variety and opportunities to satisfy ego needs. Participative management. Consulting employees in the decision-making process taps their creative capacity and provides them with some control over their work environment. Performance appraisals. Having the employees set objectives and participate in the process of evaluating how well they were met. Controlling. In this video, we are going to see about controlling. Controlling is the measurement and correction of performance to make sure whether everything occurs in conformities with the plans adopted, instructions issued, and principles established. Controlling ensures that there is effective and efficient utilization of organizational resources so as to achieve the planned goals. Controlling measures the deviation of actual performance from the standard performance, discovers the causes of such deviations, and helps in taking corrective actions. Controlling consists of 3 steps. They are: establishing performance standards, comparing actual performance against standards, taking corrective action when necessary. 2 traditional control techniques are the budget, the performance audit. According to Bridge, controlling is a systematic exercise which is called as a process of checking actual performance against the standards or plans with a view to ensure adequate progress, and also recording such experience as is gained as a contribution to possible future needs. Control process. In this video, we are going to see about control process. Control process is the direction for organizational control that derives from the goals and strategic plans of the organization. General plans are translated into specific performance measures such as share of the market, earnings, return on investment, and budgets. Steps in controlling process. Controlling as management function involves following steps. Establishment of standards. Standards are the plans or the targets which have to be achieved in the course of business function. They can also be called as the criterions for judging the performance. Standards generally are classified into 2: measurable or tangible, non-measurable or intangible. Measurement of performance. The second major step in controlling is to measure the performance. Finding out deviations becomes easy through measuring the actual performance. Performance levels are sometimes easy to measure and sometimes difficult measurement. Measurement of tangible standards is easy because it can be expressed in units, cost, money, terms, etc. Quantitative measurement becomes difficult. Performance of a manager cannot be measured in quantities. It can be measured only by attitude of the workers, their morale to work. The development in the attitudes regarding the physical environment, their communication with the superiors. It is also sometimes done through various reports like weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly reports. Comparison of actual and standard performance. Comparison of actual performance with the planned targets is very important. Deviation can be defined as the gap between actual performance and the planned targets. The manager has to find out 2 things here: extent of deviation and cause of deviation. Once the deviation is identified, a manager has to think about various causes which have led to deviation. The causes can be erroneous planning, coordination lessons, implementation of plans is defective, supervision and communication is ineffective, etc. Taking remedial actions. Once the causes and extent of deviations are known, the manager has to detect those errors and take remedial measures for it. Relevance of computer applications in different functional areas of management. In this video, we are going to see about relevance of computer application in different functional areas of management. Financial management. Financial management is one of the most important functional areas of management because the success of a company greatly depends on the proper utilization of its financial resources. So, use of computer application in finance for keeping records of all activities in the organization and information relating to that called a financial information system. Materials management. Material management is an area in which the computers can be put to beneficial use. Since computerization of inventory control will provide better control and profitability, there is rich potential for computerization in materials management field. Materials management has emerged as an independent function. Top management has been gradually giving greater importance to this area. Production management. The objective of production management, that is PM function, is to provide manufacturing services to the organization. This involves the manufacture of products of a certain specific quality and within certain costs in a stipulated time, fulfilling the promises given to the customers. Computers are playing an important role in all stages of product design and manufacturing. Basic research, part and assembly design, material storage and retrieval, product. Manufacture, inspection and testing for quality control all are being held by computer-based facilities. Marketing information system. A well-developed information system for marketing can give a competitive advantage, offering better services to customers and better information for market penetration efforts. Marketing information system, that is MIS, is defined as the computer-based system that works in conjunction with other functional information systems to support the firm's management in solving problems that relate to marketing of the firm's products. Two elements in the definition make key points. First, all of the functional information systems must work together, and second, the problem-solving support is not limited to marketing managers. Human resource management. A CBPIS can be defined as a computer-based personnel information system which is designed to support operational, managerial, and decision-making functions of the personnel division in an organization. A management information system has been compared with a pyramid in which the base consists of data or information for transaction processing in an operational environment. The top level consists of information which is used by top management for strategic planning and policies development.